Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going over my Sephora VIB Sale recommendations for the spring savings event that is coming up in April. So the dates are, it starts for Rouge on April 14th, 20% off. I'll leave all the details down below because I'm sure everyone has gone over these details, but it does start on the 14th for VIB Rouge members. And instead of just listing off my recommendations, because honestly, we're in the year 2023, most of the makeup that's released is good. You're going to be hard-pressed to find like terrible makeup. And I want to mention my Holy Grail products. These are the products that I wholeheartedly recommend. Without a doubt, they work for me. These are in rotation specifically for the spring and summertime. These are the products that I reach for. These are Holy Grail items. These are products that if I run out of these products, I will repurchase them. That is how much I rely on them. That is how much I love them. And that is how much I recommend them to you. If you are not aware, I am really trying to curate my makeup collection. I only want the best of the best products. I don't want a ton of makeup in my collection. I specifically just want like the best. I actually really need to film my declutter series because I have so much makeup that I need to get rid of because, again, I only want the best of the best makeup in my collection. So I'm going to go over my Holy Grail products at Sephora, and I'm not just going to list things just to list them. Like, I don't have a primer to mention because currently my favorite primers are not sold at Sephora, and I don't want to just mention a primer just to mention it because that seems inauthentic to me. So I'm going to move right along. Now with foundation, there's actually not a Holy Grail foundation that I have at Sephora. I was trying to think. I was trying to go through everything. Again, there's foundations that I like, that I think are good, but I don't consider them Holy Grail products. I really like the Hourglass foundation if you're looking for something that's very perfecting. I wouldn't buy it as an everyday foundation. For me, that's like a very special occasion foundation. Like if I'm going to an event, which I don't really go to, I rarely go out, but if I had a lot of events, if I was a really social person, then I would probably buy that foundation. But honestly, I use it maybe like once every 3 months because I just don't go to that many evening events or anything like that. But if you are in Canada, I recommend getting the Guerlain Parure Gold Skin Foundation. This is such a beautiful foundation. This is one of my Holy Grail items, specifically in the spring and summer when I am looking for an everyday foundation that is going to be incredibly long lasting, that is very skin perfecting, skin blurring. You know how much I love those skin blurring products that give you that soft focus effect? This foundation does that for me. I have done a full review and wear test on this foundation. I do not believe this is currently available in the US at Sephora, but it is in Canada if you are looking for an everyday beautiful foundation in the spring and summertime because it does not break apart in the heat. This wears all day long. Like I said, it gives a beautiful medium coverage and has a very gorgeous velvet finish. I wouldn't even say it's matte. It is called the matte foundation, but on me, it's more of that velvet finish that just, it does look like skin because it isn't overly glowy, but it's not overly matte either. It's kind of that perfect Goldilocks foundation where it's right in between. My Holy Grail concealer at Sephora is actually something that I don't talk about a lot on my channel, but if you saw my previous empty videos, you will see, I think I went through 3 of these concealers. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. I wear the shade 2N, which is pretty much a perfect match for me. And this is actually the concealer that I wear every day. Mostly when I go to the gym. I have a lot of Holy Grail luxury concealers like my Sisley, the Chanel Souple Mage, but they are very, very pricey. This one is, I think it's like in the $40 to $50 range in Canadian prices. And because this is less money, this is a concealer that I use every day for work or I use it to go to the gym just because sometimes I don't want to use my really expensive concealers on an everyday basis. I tend to, I don't want to say I save them because I do use them regularly. I wear them at least 3 times a week. But if I am just working from home or if I'm just running errands or if I'm just going to the gym in the morning, like I said, I go to the gym every day and this is the concealer that I wear to go to the gym. It's just something that's really easy to apply. It works on both the under eyes and the face. It doesn't crease. It doesn't settle into fine lines. Now, they did reformulate this concealer, so I haven't tried the reformulation. I heard it is pretty similar, and during the sale, I will be picking up a backup of this concealer. So, of course, when I am done this one and I try out the new concealer, I will let you know my thoughts on the reformulation. but this is just a really great concealer. It has a very nice skin texture to it so that you can use it on both the face and the under eyes. Something that I just rely on constantly and all the time. It is just such a beautiful formula. I really like the finish of this because, again, it has that really nice skin-like finish, similar to this Guerlain foundation that I mentioned. Really nice skin finish. It's not too luminous. It's also not too matte. It has that perfect in-between. And I love this one. I also do not have any powder recommendations at Sephora that are holy grails. I like the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush powder, but it's not a holy grail. That's just something that I do use, but I don't use it very often. I really like my Clé de Peau powder, my Chantecaille powder. The Charlotte Tilbury powder I like as a touch-up powder more than I do actually setting my makeup. I will use it when I'm going on vacation or traveling just because, again, it is less expensive than my Chantecaille or my Clé de Peau powder. So I do use it, but I just wouldn't say it's a holy grail. But I do recommend that powder if you're looking for a less expensive version of my Clé de Peau powder. So I do really like this powder. And again, if you're looking for a less expensive version of the Chantecaille Perfect Blur finishing powder or the Clé de Peau refining pressed powder, this is a really nice option. It's just not a holy grail, I would say. It's not the best of the best, but I would say if the Clé de Peau and Chantecaille is out of your price range, the Charlotte Tilbury, this is the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I wear the shade 2 Medium. That is the powder that I would recommend for you because it is really nice. It does blur the skin. It doesn't look heavy on the skin. I just have powders that I prefer, but this is a really nice one as well. I just wouldn't use it on the under eye area because it does look a little bit heavy in that area, but it is nice for setting the makeup and for touch-ups as well. Now, this product is currently out of stock. Hopefully they will restock during the sale. Sometimes they do that. If not, I just recommend this powder in general. Now, I actually am very curious to try a skin-toned version of this powder because I love it so much as a bronzer. And it is available in skin tone shades as well. I kind of want to try the medium deep shade as well, which I think would make another great bronzer option. But this is the Valentino Go Clutch On The Move Bronzer. So this is a refill in the shade 0. I believe the shade is called Universal Bronze. I don't know if you can tell, but I have actually hit pan in this. And when you buy the refill, it comes in this little case and it does come with a brush. I recommend getting the refill because the full compact in Canada is like $292, I think, which is absolutely insane, and I do not think it is worth that price. But the refill is way less expensive. It is basically the price of a typical bronzer, and this formula is just, it's above the rest. It is so, so good. It is a very creamy formula. It's very, very finely milled. So you want to be very careful with this bronzer because of how finely milled it is. It will be more breakable. It's very similar to the limited edition Chanel Les Beige Healthy Glow Sun-Kissed Powder. They're very, very similar, but the Valentino just doesn't have as much of a sheen. But this is just such a beautiful tone. It is a warm tone, but it is not orange at all. There is a little bit of a glow to it, but there are no detectable shimmer particles. It sits on the skin so beautifully. It does not emphasize texture. It kind of blurs the skin, which I absolutely adore. It's so easy to blend. One of the most blendable powders that just melts right into the skin. It's almost like, it's a very creamy powder, so it applies with ease like a powder would, but it melts onto the skin like a cream product would and just looks very skin-like. Such a gorgeous bronzer that gives a very sun-kissed glow. Very, very beautiful and soft focus effect. So if this does come back into stock, I do recommend you pick this up because it is beautiful. And I do actually have another Holy Grail bronzer that is so, so good. This is the Guerlain Terracotta Light, the Sun-Kissed Healthy Glow Powder in the shade 03 Medium Warm. Now this is a beautiful warm tone bronzer, and I love Guerlain bronzers because they're very inclusive. So they include a whole range of tones. There's not just like 1 or 3 bronzers for medium tones, light tones, deep tones, and they have them available in warm or cool toned options. So you can find the perfect shade for you, which I really, really like with Guerlain bronzers. Now Guerlain the formula is just kind of a classic formula. I feel like it's kind of a must-have in a luxury beauty collection because it's just such a staple product, just a classic. I think Guerlain is really known for their bronzers, and this formula that I really like. So they reformulated the Healthy Glow bronzers. It was laid out a little bit differently in the previous formula, and I really like this one more. The previous formula had a little bit more of a shimmer to it that you could actually detect the shimmer particles on the skin, but this one just has a little bit of a glow to the bronzer. But again, you can't actually see those detectable shimmer particles. This is a pressed powder formula, so it's just a normal pressed powder formula, and the bronzer tone is very warm toned, as you can see, compared to the Valentino bronzer here. But it is a little bit more buildable of a formula, so it almost applies a little bit more sheerly, so you can really build this product up on the skin. And my favorite part about this formula, or about this shade in particular, is that this actually has a little bit of a blush tone that is throughout this. So if you can see, this isn't just a one-toned bronzers. There's actually a few different tones in this bronzer. And then we have this kind of blush tone that is just sitting throughout the formula as well. So you get a little bit of that blush tone when you mix this product together onto your skin. What that does to the skin is it really brightens the skin, and it adds life, and it adds this youthfulness to the skin. So when I am feeling very tired, maybe I didn't get enough sleep the night before, maybe I had a few glasses of wine or something. I tend to not drink very often, but if I do, this is the bronzer that I will use the next day because it just brings life back to your complexion because of that little peachiness that is throughout this formula. It's very beautiful. One of my favorite products for the summertime as well. And it's a great multi-use product because if I'm just having a lazy day and I don't want to apply like a bronzer, blush, and highlight, I can use this kind of as an all-in-one product and just apply it to the skin. And it has enough of this like youthfulness effect that really brightens the skin that I could just apply my foundation and a concealer and then this just all over the face. And it just looks so good. Your skin just looks so fresh, but you still look bright and really youthful. And I just adore this formula. So I highly recommend this bronzer as well. One of my favorite products to talk about is blushes, and I think you will know what I'm going to mention if you have been to my channel the last few times. But these Valentino Eye to Cheek blushes, they're a dual use blush and shadow. I only use these as blushes, so I can't really say how they work as eyeshadows, but I have actually picked up 3 of the blushes. That is how much I love this formula. I feel like this is such an underrated formula. I don't hear anyone talking about this, and it is so gorgeous. I absolutely love all these shades. So the ones that I picked up are the shade number 8, which is this beautiful peachy coral shade that I think I'm going to use quite a lot in the spring and summertime because I just love a coral shade. It has enough pink in it. It's like that perfect pinky peach sort of shade that is really beautiful. And then I also have the shade number 9, which is more of a muted kind of salmon color. So I like this if I'm just being really neutral with my makeup, or if I'm wearing like a colorful outfit, then this is a nice neutral option. Has a bit of a pink tone to it, but more of that like salmony neutral sort of shade. And then I also have the shade number 2, which is probably my favorite, which is so unlike me. If you have seen most of my favorite blushes, they are on that neutral nude side. I tend to go for more of those brownie tones that almost are like a bronzer shade, or I go for more peachy tones. But now that my hair is brown, I feel like I can actually wear a pink blush, and I adore this color so much. It just adds, again, youthfulness to the skin. This pink shade is actually incredibly flattering, even though I had my hesitancy and I didn't think it would look that good, but I think it is just so beautiful, and this is the blush that I probably recommend that I use the most. But of course, the other shades are beautiful if you feel like pink tones don't flatter you. But I really like this formula because it is very similar to the bronzer in that you get that ease of application where it applies like a powder product, but it melts into the skin like a cream product would. You can't see powder sitting on the skin. And it has this really great soft focus effect that while there is a little bit of a sheen that runs throughout this blush, you can't actually detect any shimmer particles sitting on your skin. So that is a swatch of number 2 there. Like you can see, it's quite vibrant, but you only need like a little bit of product onto your skin and it just blends out like a dream. I don't have any issues blending it. It is very easy to blend, which I really like as well, especially for a pigmented product like this. But when you feel this powder, it feels so finely milled. It almost feels like a cream product. That is how finely milled it is. It's quite incredible. and the way it just sits on the skin is so beautiful. And like I said, a little bit of a sheen, but you can't detect that shimmer particle. Really beautiful formula. If you're looking for something that is more on the matte side though, I really recommend these Gucci blushes. So these are the Blush de Beauté Cheeks and Eye Powder. It's a luminous matte formula. Again, I don't wear these on the eyes, so I can't say how they perform on the eyes, but on the cheeks, absolutely beautiful. This formula is definitely more matte than the Valentino blushes that I recommended. So there is, I want to say there's a creaminess quality to these blushes because they look creamy on the skin. Again, similar to the Valentino, and that is why they're called luminous matte, but they are mostly matte. There's only an ever so soft shimmer. It's even less so than the Valentino, but they're very beautiful. Again, incredibly finely milled. They go onto the skin like a dream. I would say that they're a little bit less pigmented than the Valentino, so I just find them really easy to use. They're gorgeous. My favorite shade is probably the shade 04 Bright Coral, which is this one, but I also picked up the shade Rosy Beige, which is number 05. It's just a little bit deeper, a little bit more pigmented than this Bright Coral shade, but the Bright Coral is going to be absolutely perfect for the spring and summertime. Again, the Gucci blush is another holy grail product when I'm looking for something when I want my skin to be a little more on the matte side. Very blurring blush as well, and this is something that I'd recommend if you have more oily skin and you just don't want any luminosity like this Valentino blush has. But I use these blushes all the time. They are absolutely holy grails, and again, I recommend them because they are beautiful. You can't go wrong no matter what shade that you choose. Just choose the shade that speaks to you most. Now let's move to the eyes. I have a one and done shadow to mention. This is the Westman Atelier Eye Pod in the shade Tabac. I absolutely love this as a one and done shade, and I really rely on this in the spring and summertime because it is that perfect golden bronze sort of shade. They do sell these as singles now. Westman Atelier did release them in like a 3-pack, I guess you could say. There was 3 available, but then she decided to release like the most popular shades as singles. I really recommend just picking up the single. Now I feel like this product won't be for everyone because it's almost like a putty formula. So you do have to kind of dig your brush into this product. And it is so subtle. Like it just gives you a sheen to your eyes, but it is not shimmery. There are no detectable shimmer particles. It is not glittery at all. It just gives you a wash of color that is very natural. If you're into super natural makeup like I am, if you like Chanel eyeshadows, if you like that super natural look, really recommend this product. But if you are someone that likes the drama, if you like Pat McGrath eyeshadows, if you like a lot of pigment, you will not enjoy this because this is very natural. But I love that, especially as a one and done in the spring and summer when I can just put this on my eyes and it just gives me a little bit of a reflection, but it's not over the top. It's that type of makeup that people will compliment you versus complimenting your makeup. They'll say like, oh, you look really pretty today versus like, oh, your makeup looks good, because it just kind of enhances your complexion. So this is a product that I use all the time. I just love that subtle sheen where it's not too much, not too pigmented. You're gonna have a really easy time applying this on the lid and blending it out because it is just so sheer in application. And I absolutely love this. You can apply this with fingers, you can apply this with a brush. And then the eyeshadow palette I have to recommend is from Tom Ford, and it is the Eye Color Quad Crème formula in the shade number 36 Tiger Eye. I've mentioned this a lot as well. This is something I recommended to my mom who is 64. Again, I will link my must-have, or it's the best makeup for mature skin, because my mom came onto my channel and talked about her makeup favorites, and this is her favorite eyeshadow palette. It's just so good, and this creme formula that Tom Ford came out is so lovely because it is like, it applies like a powder, but it has a creaminess quality where it just melts into the eyes. It is very seamless. It is not too shimmery, specifically in this quad, because all these shimmers, they just have a beautiful sheen, but there are no glitter particles to this. There's no chunkiness. They are very buildable, so they apply a little bit. They're not like super pigmented initially off the bat, but you can build them up, so they're very beginner friendly. And just the creaminess of these, they're so gorgeous on the eyes. I just love this for kind of like enhancing makeup. Again, I like that makeup that just enhances your features versus it being like very obvious makeup on your face. And these colors together are just also beautiful, perfect for the spring and summertime because they are more of that neutral leaning warm formula. And I just love that they're a satin formula that isn't too shimmery, isn't too pigmented, incredibly easy to blend. I just can't say enough about how much I love this palette, how much I use this palette as well. It's just a go-to for me. Definitely a holy grail product. And for eyeliners, the only eyeliners I use, well, in my tight line to like line my upper waterline are these Hourglass. These are the waterproof gel eyeliners, the Voyer gel eyeliners. My favorite shades are the shade Obsidian, which is a black, and then the shade Cave, which is a brown. I like to use the brown on an everyday basis just for something a little bit more natural. And the black I'll use in the evening if I'm going out, if I have plans or something like that. These do not move on your tight line, so I apply them in the upper waterline here. They do not transfer down to your waterline. They don't move. They don't budge at all, and they're just incredibly long wearing. So if you're looking for a long wearing eyeliner, now if you apply this on your top lash line and try and smudge it out, I don't recommend these eyeliners for that purpose because once you apply them, they set down. So you're not going to be able to smudge and move them about. But that makes them perfect for the waterline or the tight line. Absolutely love these. And then my must-have holy grail lash combination is the Dior Maximizer 3D. This is the lash primer. I've talked about this a lot. I love to use a lash primer because I think it just preps your lashes for mascara. It gives you more length, gives you more volume, gives you more separation. And it also adds a bit of a conditioning effect before you apply a mascara over top. And my holy grail mascara is the Gucci Le Obscure mascara. This is in the shade Eve Black. I have, I think, 2 backups already, so I probably don't need to even repurchase a backup in the Sephora VIB sale, but this is great to give you length, volume, separation. It makes your lashes just look so good. It never flakes, it never smudges, and it is consistent for the full 6 months that I use this mascara. It never flakes throughout those full 6 months because, again, mascara is only good for 6 months, and I can't recommend this enough. This is an absolute holy grail product. And then for lips, my holy grail lip liner at Sephora is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Lip Cheat, so specifically in the shade Pillow Talk, but I just recommend getting a shade that speaks to you. I really like this because it is incredibly long wearing. It's just the best My Lips But Better shade. And I think that's specifically why I keep repurchasing this product, but I will be repurchasing a backup during the sale. I love this formula. And then I kind of have a new holy grail product that is one of those lipstick lip gloss hybrids. This formula is really, really good, and I'm so impressed. This is the NARS Afterglow Lip Balm in the shade Fast Lane. So these are quite similar to like the Chanel Rouge Cocoa Flashes, where they go on like basically a lip balm. They're incredibly comfortable. They just really adhere to the lips and melt onto the lips. They make your lips feel better after you have worn them. Versus a lot of lipsticks that don't really make your lips feel better after you've worn them. But it gives you a little bit of that glossy effect. This shade is beautiful. It's like a dusty pink, but it's so sheer because it is kind of that oily formula. But it doesn't transfer outside your lip line or anything. This is something that I put in my handbag. This has actually kind of replaced the Chanel Rouge Cocoa Flashes. I feel like these are even more comfortable. They're very, very similar though, but I just have been really loving this shade in particular in the shade Fast Lane. It is a beautiful My Lips But Better. Pairs beautifully over that Charlotte Tilbury and is great on an everyday basis. This is what I wear every day to work, to the gym. Perfect. And then I have to mention the Merit Signature Lightweight Lipstick in the shade Baby. If I want an actual lipstick formula that's more of that satin that isn't as glossy as this NARS one that I mentioned, I will rely on this Merit Signature Lightweight Lipstick. This is what it says. It is a lightweight lipstick. It feels incredibly light on the lips. It is pigmented, but it's not overly pigmented. It's that perfect in-between finish where it's not matte, but it's not too glossy. It's that satin, and it's just so comfortable on the lips. It makes your lips feel really good. It's very comfortable. It's not like super duper long lasting. It's not going to last you the full day. You will need to touch up, but the formula is just incredibly hydrating. And it just feels so nice on the lips. It doesn't feel heavy on the lips. It never, I don't know, feels dry or anything. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous color formula. I've already gone through a full tube of this and I have already repurchased this. I love it that much. And then the gloss I want to recommend, this is kind of just like a treat. I wouldn't say it's a must-have, but this is my Holy Grail lip gloss. I kind of have 3 Holy Grails that I kind of go through, but this Tom Ford one is the only one that's available at Sephora, and I love this. This specifically is in the shade In the Buff, number 21. It's basically a nude lip gloss, which doesn't sound very spectacular, but there is this really beautiful golden sheen that runs throughout this product. But even though there is a little bit of shimmer, that it's like a sporadic shimmer, you can't feel it on the lips. Like, you can't feel that grittiness. This formula is just so luxe. It is so comfortable. It makes your lips feel so good. It gives like a slight plumping effect just because it's a gloss. So gloss kind of does that just because it's adding a shine to your lips. But it doesn't make your lips, like, sometimes it can transfer to your upper lip and can make your lips look like, or like you're sweating on your upper lip. This doesn't do that. It's just a beautiful satin sheen that's so comfortable. One of the best formulas on the market. And Tom Ford lip products, like, I don't like their lipsticks because they basically expire after like 3 months. But I don't have the same problem with the lip glosses. I've had this for a really long time and I still use it. And that is everything for all my Holy Grail products that are at Sephora. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear from you. What are you going to be buying from the sale? I would love to know your Holy Grail products that are at Sephora as well, because I would love to try some of them out. I think I am going to film what I'm buying at the Sephora VIB sale, because I'm definitely going to be picking up some of your previous recommendations that you gave to me. And I'm just always curious what people are buying at the sale. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it. And I'll see you in my next video.